multi-quarter set up. All right. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Cool. I'm going to try. Let me add. Let's add a camera input.
Nice haircut. You didn't hear what I said.
No.
That's a nice haircut.
Ah, thanks. Try to get it a little floofy.
There you go.
A
Floofy.
little floofy.
Yeah, this growing it out thing is not working out for me.
Oh, yeah. Takes a little time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to find some of my spare LED lights, and I wasn't able to. You got your snowball in the background.
Snowball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right back there.
Yeah. Use it as a prop.
Yeah.
All right, it must be that time. It seems like it's Tuesday, 4 o'clock Pacific time.
It looks like it is.
It looks like it is. And you'd be hard pressed to tell that it's mid-January, January 19th today by the looks of it.
Yeah,
What we
crazy.
hit 80 degrees yesterday here in Sonoma
Yesterday, yeah,
County.
it was
So
80 degrees.
yeah, it was
And a lot
really
of high
nice.
winds. A lot of high
Yeah,
wind.
yeah.
Whew.
So
Windy.
little cooler today, but it's a beautiful day in Sonoma County. And we're going to talk about some fun stuff, but I got in trouble when I didn't play this last time, so I'm going to play this first.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Yay.
Yay. It is the live show with Sue and Ryan. I'll leave it up to you, the audience members, to figure out who's who. Uh,
Exactly.
Today, we're going to talk about kind of going back to basics. It's 2021, so I think a lot of people are rethinking, okay, how do I up my game? I've done my 2 weeks of exercise for 2021. I've taken care of that for the year. Uh, I know I
That's
have.
funny, right? Me too.
And so now, but the reality is we're kind of still stuck in this situation. I think most people realize 2020 and 2021, we're going to look kind of the same, especially for the first 6 months, maybe. I don't know.
You never know.
So those of you that are looking to up your game online, may it be through live production, such as what we're on right now with the live show, may it be through Zoom or any other video chat. We're going to talk about the three key areas that you really need to focus on today.
Yes, exactly. It's time to, even if you're not very tech savvy, I know a lot of people say, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And we're going to make it really, really easy for you. And you need to be stepping in to and embracing where we are, because it is not
Right.
going away. So it's
Yeah.
time to embrace.
Yep. And just to kind of give people an idea, so I'm going through, I've got my Canon EOS DSLR camera. I've got a XLR microphone. And for people that don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But this is the sound. Let me switch over, and I haven't tested the webcam, but I'm going to switch over to my webcam real quick.
Ooh, okay.
And this is me
Ooh,
on the
yikes.
webcam. So I'm using its microphone, which by the way is much farther away versus the other microphone that I'm using that's here. It's a very wide angle. You notice the coloring's a lot different.
Mhm.
I'm not quite as sharp, and the background is in focus as much as
Focus.
I am, versus, let me find my buttons here. If we go back here,
Yeah.
you'll notice that the coloring's much better. The background's blurred out, and what that does is it causes the subject, me being in this case, kind of to pop out from the image. So it
Right.
just makes makes the subject look a little bit sharper. And it does show up on Zoom and other platforms that
Right.
people are working with.
So that's, I mean, you're kind of like the high end. Like you've got the
Right.
full on setup. I mean, you've got the quality camera, you've got the quality mic. You can tell I have kind of a an external webcam that I added to mine, and you can see all my stuff is in
Right.
focus in the background. So it's working
However,
pretty well.
if you don't have, because I've got control. I'm the producer here. I've got control over the software. If you're able to swap out your camera, there would be a noticeable difference,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely, yes. But using using your iPhone, now we've done that before, where you can hook up your iPhone using the Camo, which is free. Super easy. Everybody's got an iPhone now, or
Right.
or a a smartphone, if you will, and they have really good cameras in them. And this goes
Yes.
for not only getting onto calls on Zoom or something like this, a virtual event that you've been invited to speak at or to be part of, but also doing some recordings. A lot of times we find right now with a lot of events that we're doing, we're asking people to provide a recording of themselves, a video, to maybe talk about what they're showcasing, or a kind of an introduction, something like that. And we're running into a lot of people that just don't even know what to do. How do I do that? What's the best way to do it? I don't have a fancy camera set up, and I don't have this and that. And I've had people say, "Oh, I usually record my videos on Zoom, just of myself," which, as we've talked about many times, Zoom not the best quality. So
Right.
you're really gonna want to have another option for that. And it is easy to use your phone in a live setting or when you're doing a recording. So highly recommending.
And there's also highly recommending using a tripod.
Yes.
So they have these fancy little adapters. Let me go full screen real quick. So they have these fancy little adapters here. It's just a spring-loaded clip. that you slide your phone on, and then this attaches to your tripod. Makes it super simple. There's all kinds of tripods. You can get desk mounted little baby tripods. There's full size
Mhm.
tripods. There's all kinds. These little gorilla, this is a Joby kind of a gorilla pod, is kind of cool because it can wrap around something. So if you have kind of a irregular shape or you need it to grip onto something like a post or something like that, they make these little guys. You can find them on Amazon. And if you need something that's full size, obviously there's full size tripods, but it's just this little doodad. Let me
Yep.
just go on. It's even got a little bubble on the back to let you know if it's balanced or not, and it's spring loaded, so it will fit very different size phones, essentially.
Mhm.
Super simple
Yeah.
to use.
Super simple. So
Super simple.
that's what we're gonna recommend if you don't have a big camera setup at home or in your office. Camo I've used with my iPhone. You know, you're not an iPhone guy. I'm the iPhone person.
Right.
Um, but I've used Camo with my phone. It is free
Hmm.
and it works really, really well. It's fairly simple to set up. You just have to have the app going on your phone
Right.
and you connect to your computer and you're ready to go. And so the quality is really, really good. You can have that using, like I said, if you're doing a live call in or
Hmm.
recording your videos. So
Right.
must have
And the other
a
thing I'll say
tripod.
with yes, tripod muy importante. The other thing is if you're going to use iPhone, iPad, something like that that has that nice quality camera that Sue's talking about. The other nice thing with this type of software, I'm not sure how well it's showing up. Maybe I can do a Control Plus. Oops, I got to get on the right screen. Is the fact that it has all these settings here, so you can actually adjust the settings on your phone. And I know a lot of people get a little worried. They're like, I don't want to adjust anything. The cool thing about adjusting it, you notice this would be you if you were using the app.
Right.
While you're adjusting it, you'll notice how things are changing. So if you don't like it, just adjust back to where you were and
Right.
kind of play with it because what you see is what you get. So it
Yep.
is one of the nice features if you end up using software like this, where you have that direct access. Where I don't have that, I've got to go into the camera, I got to set everything up, and if it
Right.
is not set up correctly, I'm kind of SOL at that point. I don't have the ability to
Yes.
make changes on the fly necessarily.
Yeah, so as far as equipment goes, we talked about the tripod for sure,
Hmm.
having that some sort of tripod on your desk or even the full size, like you said, depending on where you are and what your setup is. And then you're going to
Can we
need,
can we talk about
yeah,
this really quick? So
okay,
if mine, this is how I normally mount my DSLR camera, and it unfortunately it works. Anyway, it was a tightening issue. It kept on coming loose. So I ended up making a big switch today to one of these, but larger. What's cool about these, if you have a dual monitor setup, and a lot of people run a dual monitor setup, when you do that, they have an arm that comes up in the center, and then you got two arms that come out that actually hold the monitors in place. So the question becomes, well, where do I mount this camera? Where do I put this tripod? You get one of these little guys, it just clamps onto the back of one of the arms, and
mhm,
then you mount your camera to this end here, which is out of focus. And then there's this twist knob. So once you get the camera in position, you just tighten this knob and it tightens the arm down. And
yes,
once the arm is all tightened, now you can pretty much place the camera wherever you want to. So these guys, they're on Amazon. You can find them. They vary in price quite a bit. I recommend getting the ones that are aluminum anodized, not the ones with the plastic knobs. The plastic knobs tend to break
break,
because you have to kind of tighten these down pretty tight. So
yes,
this is kind of a cool little tool if you're running a dual or triple monitor setup and you have a bracket or an arm that you can attach to. And that's essentially what I've done with my cameras. It's mounted directly behind my monitor so that I still have good eyesight
right.
with the viewers.
Yep. I mean, there's pretty, I mean, there's simple stuff. There are a few little investments you need to make.
Mhm.
And of course, if you need help, you can always call Ryan. He can advise you
Or leave
on
a
what
comment
exactly you
below.
need. Leave a
Yep.
comment.
Leave a comment below if you have any questions. More than happy to help out in the ways that we can.
Absolutely. So that's, I mean, for your quality on your camera, you know, don't discount that phone. You can use the
Right.
phone for almost everything when it
Yes.
comes to video. So,
Yep.
like the phone.
And the other thing I'll say about the phone is that they do have wireless options where you can connect via Bluetooth or internet. I'm not sure exactly how. I always recommend doing the hardwire because you're going to get
Yes,
the best resolution through that phone cable when you plug into
exactly.
your computer.
Exactly. And for iPhone, it's pretty much just the same cord that you would use to charge your phone.
Hmm.
It goes into your phone and goes into that little cube. Instead of going into the cube, you're going right into the USB on your computer. So it's
Right.
nothing really more that you have to buy as far as cords and connections and things like
Hmm.
that. So
Yep. Super
easy.
simple.
What else
What
do we
else?
need, Ryan?
Well, you need good sound. So,
Yes,
hmm,
you do.
and I need to drink some water so that I sound good. Otherwise, I get a little parched. So let's talk about sound. A lot of iPhone users also like to use their earbuds.
Yes.
Earbuds work well. The wireless ones work well also.
Mhm.
The one thing I have noticed with just interviewing people over it's almost years now because we're
I
almost
know.
at 1+ year over the last year has been if you have a mic built into
Mhm.
your headphone and then you've got earrings or jewelry or a
Yes.
tall collar and this rubs up against it
Rubbing,
as
yeah.
you're talking. Super annoying because it's literally like scratch, scratch, scratch,
Right?
scratch, scratch. It doesn't sound good. So be careful if you're wearing headphones that have a built-in mic and you're using the I'm just using these as a headphone. I'm not using I don't even think this has a mic. I don't know what this
I
oh,
think
this is just like a volume rocker or
low
something like
volume.
that. But be careful of that. The earbuds
Yes.
work typically much better. However, you're typically going to sound a little bit tinnier. You're going to have more of that phone quality voice
Right.
versus actually upgrading to a microphone. I can see you've got your Yeti in the back, the Snowball. Yep, there you go.
So there.
The the Snowball is the round one. If people are familiar with the Blue manufacturer of microphones, if you're thinking about upgrading and going with a better quality microphone, highly recommend going with the Yeti. I think the Blue's like $100. This might be 165. Please don't quote me on it. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But there's a number of advantages of why you would want to go with this, including the fact it's got a headphone jack. It's got gain, so you can adjust the volume if you want. The quality is really good. I actually like the sound out of this much better than I do the Rode
Mhm.
XLR mic. I'm using the Rode Pod mic. I think it's the Pod mic is what I'm using right
Okay.
now. It's more convenient for my setup because it's out of the way, versus
Right.
this is a little bit bigger and bulkier. The other thing I was trying to set it up before the show is that this also comes with a mount, so you can just put it on the desk, and then it can be down on the desk in front of you while
Mhm.
you're talking to it. Fabulous. I think I sound my voice sounds much richer and deeper in this microphone than it does in this current microphone that I'm using.
So that's the
However,
sexy voice microphone. Is that what it is?
that yes, compared to this one, and obviously the
Yeah.
white balance is way off. I am like super blue, but you just notice how tinny this sounds.
You can
It
also hear a lot
does.
more of the background,
Oh, can you?
like just the ambient noise too.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that I mean, for me, going from something like this from a sound point of view is there's a night and day difference going from that to this, or even my Rode mic that I'm using here. You can actually see it in this shot. It's just
It's better.
webcams are designed to do a general purpose thing, and they do it very well to a degree. If you
Yes.
really want to up your game, you need to start separating out, okay, I need better sound, then I need a better microphone. I need a better
Right.
camera, then I need to get a better camera. May it be your
Yes.
iPhone or a DSLR, whatever that route is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I should have hooked mine up today. I didn't hook mine up today, but
that's all right. You always sound good, Sue. You always
oh,
sound
thanks.
good.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
trying to find my remote because the last thing we're going to talk about is lights.
Ooh, yay.
Lighting is super important, and with modern technology, I can turn lights on and off now with a remote, which is really cool. But the key thing I want to say about lighting is a lot of times, both Sue and I will see people who are at Zoom meetings. They might be at a kitchen table, they're at an office, and it's really nice to have all this natural light fall onto your desk and not blind you. Because if you were turned around looking out the window, it could be very bright if you didn't have some sort of screen up. The problem is that the camera just can't balance with all that light. You end up getting these shadows, and that's why I'm so dark. And then if you want to compound it, the poor little
Yeah.
camera even has a harder time
Yes,
trying to
it
make me
does.
look decent. So inexpensive LED lights. They have all kinds of kits. This is a single light that I have off to the left here. Even this, I look much better. However, to me, it still looks a little bit darker. So if I add a little bit more fill light in,
There you go.
this is just a real easy way to bring up the production value of your shot so that you look balanced with your background. And then you've
Yes.
got kind of the opposite setup where you're actually facing a window.
I am facing a window. So, and sometimes it gets, that's the problem though. Sometimes it gets really, really bright and I'm like all white and it doesn't look good. And then other times, like right now, the sun's starting to go down a little bit and you can notice it's getting a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker. So it's not necessarily a controlled setup that I've got here. I would prefer to have some kind of lighting,
Right.
like you said, on one side good, other side too, even better.
Right,
So,
right.
you know,
But how do you deal with the sun coming through the window and one not blinding you, and then two, the light is very soft on your face right now. It's not really harsh.
yeah, I've got up a little bit of a sheer screen, so that it's a light sheer screen, so it's blocking the sun so that it's not glaring in my eyes,
Right.
and it's softening that harsh light that would be coming in. So, which it works great, and if it's during the day and it's nice and sunny, everything's great. But like I said, as the light starts to change, it's kind of it's not a very stable lighting
Right.
situation for me.
And yeah, and I
Yeah.
deal with the same issue. I have to adjust the light. And what's nice for me is with the remote is I can actually go in and channel one. I can actually and the right. I got to find the right button. Sorry.
You're such a
So
gadget guy.
I'm
You're
such
like
a gadget
Inspector
guy, but
Gadget.
you notice how I'm getting a little brighter and brighter and
Oh, there you
brighter
go.
here. So I'm
Right.
actually able to, with the remote, I can kind of adjust it on the fly. So as the light shifts in the background here, I can go ahead and adjust the lighting on my face to affect how I want to look. And if you're on Zoom or something, you just got to pull, you can just pin yourself momentarily, or not pin, because that would be the whole,
Yeah.
forget what it is called, but you can essentially pin yourself, but
Oh,
in
can
your
you?
own view.
All
Yeah, I
right.
forget I forget what it's called. So if you wanna kind of adjust things,
Okay.
you can do that. And these light kits, I forget how much I paid. I have this somewhere. It's the wrong
What
document.
about what about the ring lights? I know a lot of people use ring lights, that they've gotten the larger ones, even some of the
Don't
smaller ones.
Yeah, don't like them. I just found the Viltrox. I'm actually doing a video. Let me find desktop. So this guy over here, this is what I'm currently using.
Mm,
And what's nice about it, um, is you get the lights, you get the stands, you get all the
nice.
power cords, sometimes they give you these lights, but then you have to install batteries. They
Mm,
actually give you power cords, and then there's also a remote, but it also comes all in this bag, so it's easy to travel if you need to. They're showing some extra stuff, but you can adjust them. Very cool. A little bit, might be a little bit out of some people's budget, potentially at $212 essentially. But you get a lot of flexibility with that kit. And the one thing
Mm,
I will say with these, they're also diffused, they're also bicolor, which means for people that are interested, let me go back to my main light. And if you actually look at the color, I can adjust. I don't know if I got enough stuff. Can you kind of notice
good.
how I'm getting a little
Yeah,
orangey?
orange. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can actually, because these are bicolor, there's actually some orangish lights. They're
Mm,
more on the orange spectrum if you think of like a flame or an
right.
incandescent light bulb. And then they also have another row of lights that are more of your traditional LEDs, which are more of a pure white or a blue. And I'm trying to push the button and talk and look at the screen all at the same time. And you can see where now I'm a little bit, I feel like I'm a
Yeah.
little too blue.
Yeah.
So it just it doesn't make my skin look. I'm like, I would like to have a little bit of a tan here. So with the remote, I can actually adjust
That's cool.
the color balance if I want to, the white balance, I should say,
Is that
on the lights.
and does that kit was that 3 lights?
Yeah, you get 3
You get 3
lights,
lights.
you get the
That's pretty good.
stand, you get the, power adapter for the 3 lights.
So
It's
3
even
of
got
them. Yeah.
a little ball head. You can't see them because 'cause we're in the way. So they're adjustable where you can tilt them and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, for 212 bucks, I think it's a great deal.
Yeah.
These are not studio quality lights. These are not
Sure.
lights you wanna travel with. They're not gonna take the banging. And if you have a really bright environment, these lights are pretty small, so they're not gonna work well in a bright environment. However, most people, if
You
you're
mean to fill in shadows and things like that.
right, if you were
Yeah.
outdoors as an example and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it would be great to kind of, add a little bit of light because I'm gonna be in the shade and I wanna balance the bright, that's the
Right.
bright light that's behind me." These lights are not strong enough
Okay.
for that type of work, but if you're indoors, home office, regular office, and you just wanna add a little bit of light and have some flexibility, I think
Right.
these are great lights, especially if you can, just stick them on the light stands and just leave them alone, which
Yeah.
is great because I have mine permanently mounted. And
Nice.
all I got to do is sit down. All I got to do is I can come in here, I turn that group on, that group off, and boom, I come in for my Zoom meeting. I go, okay, I turn that light on and I turn that light on. By the way, I can control each light separately.
Ooh,
So,
look at you. You're so
so
fancy.
I know
See,
it's pretty cool.
you are the gadget guy. I swear. If
I'm
you
the tech
guys
guy. Well, the tech guy's got to be a gadget
well,
guy. Otherwise, we
I
have
know.
no idea what's going on.
Exactly. I'm so glad that we have you because
Yeah,
you're the one who figures out what we can use, what's the best thing.
right.
I appreciate that you actually do the research on a lot of these things,
Yeah.
and
And I
because you
like to
have
use it.
experience. Pardon me.
Yeah, and I want to use it. I mean,
You want to use it.
there's a
Yeah.
reason why I have this. There's a reason why I bought the snowball that you have. There's a reason why I
Yep.
have the Rode. There's a reason why I have 2 other microphones sitting in storage. There's a reason why. It's because part of all of this is you either spend money and test things out yourself, or
Right.
you pay somebody a consulting fee, just like you do with taxes, just like you
Sure.
do with, a business coach.
Right.
They have certain experience, they've spent money, and that experience is what you're paying for essentially.
Right.
It's like, "Oh, don't do that. I did that once and it was a
Yeah.
big, big mistake. Don't do it.
I,
Save you
I
thousands of
love that.
dollars." Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So if you guys do need any guidance, go ahead and put something in the comments below, and I'm sure Ryan can help you out.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. We haven't heard from, Elvis today. I don't know if he's around. I'm sorry,
Elvis not around today?
I'm looking up at a, screen here for, on Facebook. I don't see Elvis. Elvis generally, um,
Elvis generally joins us.
he generally
Yeah,
joins us, and he likes to ask a question here and there. I don't see, so apparently he's not on today, because he generally likes to ask some of those tech questions. And
Yes.
the next thing I'm looking to get is a mixer so that we can actually bring in
Ooh,
multiple pieces of audio and be able to mix them in hardware versus software.
very
So
nice.
that's kind of the next thing.
So yay. I mean, I think what we talked about today, I mean, kind of covers a lot of kind of the basics for
Hmm.
everyone as you're getting started. I mean, granted, we've all started with our
Right.
virtual experiences, but now it's time to kind of up level a little bit, and especially if you're, as we're producing more and more events for people and companies and organizations, they're bringing in people to speak and to be a part of those things, which means y'all got to up your game. So
Right.
this is why we wanted to do this, so that when you're ready to do something, you're ready to get on a video stream for an event or record something. You have the tools and you're ready to go, and it's gonna look really good.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what we
and I
want.
would say, we covered three basic elements.
Yeah.
There's the camera, which is the visual part, there's the microphone, which is the audio part, and then lighting, which again goes back to visual. You can upgrade one at a time. So
Yes.
if you have a Logitech webcam as an example, and your lighting, you just don't have enough light, or you just have a lot of overhead light that's throwing shadows down on you, then maybe you start with lighting and leave the camera alone and just get the lighting balance. And then you can
Right.
go, okay, hey, based on my budget, um,
Yes.
auditory is going to be the next, is one of the big ones, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was, let me go back. Sorry, gotta find where am I going? Come on, folks. If I was here as an example, the
Ooh,
very first thing I would want to do, yeah, it's a software issue where I just need the color balance
that's bad
within
though.
the
The sound
software
is bad
itself.
too. The sound is bad.
It's all bad. Yeah, well, yeah, there's not much we can do about that. Um, well, here we can go in the color. Let's see what auto white balance does. That fix anything?
Nope.
No. Okay. And I don't know. It's a little blue. Let's take. See, so we
Oh,
can
now
kind
it's
of screw with
green.
it a little bit. Now a little too much green, so let's crank up the green. So we can kind of play with it in software. And these are the things that I would do, right? Okay, what can I do to fix what I have? And because I can play with some camera settings to adjust visually how things look to make it more
Sure.
appealing. The next thing I can't affect within software though is going to be the sound because of the built-in microphone, how far away it is, how small it is, how just it's not a good microphone, but it does the job. So
Right.
the next thing I would probably do is then go, okay, let me add a USB microphone where all you got to do, you plug in a USB cable in the bottom, you plug it into your computer, it automatically recognizes it.
Yep.
And whatever software you're using, you go in the microphone, you choose the Yeti as your microphone option, and boom, you're going to sound a worlds better. And then
World's
probably
better.
the last thing I would do is go with upgrading the camera, because that, unless you go camo,
Yeah.
but even camo, it takes a little bit of work. You got to
Yeah.
download, you got to sync it. You got to make
Yeah.
sure the cable connects. If you go with DSLR, you have to have some sort of converter that'll take the HDMI signal or a
Right.
USB signal and convert it into a video signal that a computer understands. So it's a little bit more complex.
Right.
So that's where I would go audio first, and then I would probably do camera last.
Camera last.
Uh,
Yep.
but
Well, because
if you got a real
it,
crappy camera, then I would probably
yeah,
upgrade the camera first. So
and
hard
it's
to say.
probably going to be your biggest upgrade expense
Right.
wise would be to go for a nicer camera. If you can use your phone,
Correct.
and maybe your webcam isn't like the best, but maybe you could use your phone for a little while.
Right.
And then when you're ready to really make that leap, then that's going to be a fairly sizable investment, I would say,
Yeah.
to in order to get something good.
Yeah, I mean, at least $500, but
Yeah.
expect to be closer to $1,000 from the camera point of view, between not only the camera body, but also if you go with a mirrorless or a DSLR, you also have
Mm,
interchangeable lenses, and the
right.
kit lenses that come with the camera are generally kind of garbagey. They're not the best. They're okay. They're not the best. So you may want to upgrade your lens also.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. Start ticking away.
There you
Little
go.
bit at
Tick,
a
tick,
time.
ticking away.
Little bit at a time. But
And you
that
too
covers
will
it, I
look as
think.
good as me.
I know. I'm still striving to look as good as you.
Yes.
I won't do the mohawk though. That's
No,
not happening.
you just
Mm.
gotta pull the hair back and then poof it in the center. It'll be a faux hawk.
No, I'm good. Thanks. I'll
Not a
pass.
problem. Anything else that you would like to bring up?
No,
No.
I just want to encourage people to to embrace the idea that we are virtual and we
Right.
will be virtual for a while. So just if even if you're feeling like this sucks, uh, feel that and then
Hmm.
know that you got to move forward.
Right.
So
Right.
and
And
just do it.
how do you want to show up, to other
Yes,
people, especially I think in a professional environment? It's going
absolutely.
to be a little bit more important. I know a lot of people who are keynote speakers. They've
Yes,
actually had to invest thousands of dollars, and they're building out studios in their
yes.
homes. They're
Yep.
converting their office into a studio where they actually have a full light. They've got multiple cameras. So now we're
Right.
integrating software so we can have camera A, camera B. They've got overhead shots. So if they want to like show you something down on their desk while they're playing with it, it's like, okay, this stuff's getting serious here, folks.
Stuff's getting serious. This
Stuff's
is
getting
where we are.
serious. Yep.
So, yep, just don't be afraid. Step right in.
Step right in. All right. Well, with that, shall we bid everybody adieu?
Yes, we'll see you next week, 4 p.m. on Tuesday. That's Pacific time. See you then.